Yes, people, welcome back to another episode of That Gunners Talk. And ladies and gentlemen, we're here to preview the big one, probably the biggest game, or not probably, the biggest game of the season, the game that holds our season in the balance. Well, one of them, and that's Arsenal taking on PSG in the first leg of the Champions League semi-final. No mention in the Champions League semi-final. Big up to Arsenal's women going to the first ever Champions League final, beating Lyon 5-3 on aggregate with a 4-1 convincing victory in France. So credit to the women. And it could potentially be a both Barcelona versus Arsenal final in both men and women's football. That's going to be a massive moment for football. And if Arsenal could lift both the women's and men's Champions League, it'd be a dream come true. But ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me clap it up for the women. A massive achievement, massive credit goes out to all the ladies that performed over this course of this season, and credit to them for getting to a final, and good luck to them in the final. KP, anything you want to say about the women, or should we just jump straight into the massive game that we have coming up against PSG?
First of all, shout out to the ladies, man. Like, obviously, Lyon are one of the best teams, like, especially historically in women's football. And
Yeah, true.
2-0 down, going over to their ground, it was definitely against the odds. But to be 4-0 up, obviously to win 4-1 and, put their place into the final, as you said, to play Barcelona is like inspirational. It feels poetic, feels like an omen, and hopefully the men can follow suit with what the ladies have done this season. And obviously, it seems like it's poetic. They beat Madrid in the quarterfinals, beat a French team. We're facing a French team now, so let's see if we can do the same thing. But shout out to the women as well, and everyone. Just obviously don't forget to hit subscribe button to both Gunner Street and K-Pass Pausa, and smash the like button of this video. It's going to be a big preview for this PSG game.
You
Comment
already
down
know
below
people.
your thoughts, man.
You already know people what to do, bro. KP shouldn't have said anything. You already know what to do. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, people. You already know you love it here. And if you like anything Arsenal related, we got it on both channels. So show some love, show some support to both channels. Without further ado, KP, I'm gonna come to you first. Going into this Champions League game, we've already played PSG this season with a 2-0 victory. We didn't have Odegaard in the first game. Trossard stepped up playing that midfield position. We still had Kai Havertz, who was up front. Different circumstances. No Havertz, no a few others missing from this game potentially. No Partey, and we're gonna talk about the lineup going into this game. But before we talk about the lineup, KP, tell me about what do you think about what do you think about what are your feelings going into the game? I should say. Sorry, I started on my words. What are your feelings going into this massive game? Because, like I said, it's what defines our season.
Obviously, I think the main feeling for me is excitement, isn't it? Like Steph. Before I even get to the game, like, you have to understand, January, February was dark time, bro. like obviously it wasn't that like I didn't rate the players that we had at the time and the fitness, but it was just looking at like the situation. Obviously, you're not really thinking about Champions League like semi-final and all the possibilities of getting there
in January.
because
Yeah,
obviously we're considering that like obviously it's going to be difficult and X, Y, Z. So just to still obviously today, and obviously I'll touch on it, seeing Liverpool win the title, and congratulations to them. They've been the best team in the league this season, and they deserve to win the league. And they did it in a convincing way today as well, which is obviously it's good for them, their fans. It pained me because I felt like it should have been us that were winning this title this year, and I expected it to be us. But given that obviously, like, luckily, I guess, luckily or unluckily, or I don't know how you want to put it, that we have a game that can still make our season important. We're still in for one of the major trophies, Champions League, something we've never won, and like, there's no team in this competition that I'm fearful of playing. With all respect to all of them, and obviously coming up against PSG on Tuesday, obviously it will be different. If you ask me on Tuesday morning, I'm going to be nervous. I'm going to be obviously like, do you know what I'm saying? It's natural stuff.
That's the match day.
Do you know what I mean? You don't want to lose. Obviously, it's a big game, and we're at home as well. But I'm excited, man. I feel like it feels nice knowing your team is good, knowing your team has certain strengths. You know your team. Yes, albeit we're missing certain players, but we still have our best attacking player fit, available, rolling. We've got Trossard and Martinelli that are in good form as well, scoring goals. And end of the day, we got to try and do our thing. And I feel like we can, and I feel like I really want us to, because like, yes, you never know what's gonna happen in the final, but I want us to get to that final. I want us to have that 90 minutes or 120 minutes away from potentially lifting a trophy, and that joy that we've never actually experienced before as an Arsenal fan base in totality. So it's a big thing, and obviously one game at a time. Like, I'm excited. How are you feeling for this game, bro?
KP, I agree with everything you said. I haven't stopped thinking about the game since Palace. Honestly, really, but even before then, since we even beat Real Madrid, I just wanted the next Champions League. I wish the Champions League game was the weekend again, because the feeling is, first of all, it's just a great feeling to be in the semifinal. And I don't want to make it sound like, oh, I'm content with being to a semifinal. But like you said, January, February days, it was looking dark, KP. It was looking so dark, man. And I was just thinking, well, with no striker signed, Havertz going down, Martinelli got injured, Saka was potentially at the time ruled out to probably miss the rest of the season. We all thought that injury was going to be a season ender. And to be where we are, even without Gabriel in the squad, again, that's another significant injury picked up. No Havertz in the squad still. Like we battled through injuries, man. And to be here, I've been saying it for time on time. Credit to the team, credit to Arteta, credit to the staff, because it's not easy to take that blow of knowing you want to win the Premier League. And I know ultimately that's what this team wants to win. And that's the Premier League. That's a massive one for them. Not to get it, but to shift their focus and still be so good in Europe. I think we're one of the best teams in Europe, goal scoring wise. So, and defense wise as well. I remember coming out of the group stage. I think we were the second best team behind Inter in terms of goals conceded.
Yeah, I think, but they've conceded way more goals than us since the knockout. So
but that's what I'm saying. They've conceded way more goals. I don't know what's the ranking of who's conceded the least amount, but I know we have to be definitely.
Yeah, no, we've conceded the least amount still. I checked.
Exactly my point. We're one of the best goal scoring teams, and we're the best defensive team. So if you look at it on paper, people have ruled us out against PSV. PSV are saying, or people are saying, oh, that's a sneaky team. They might do you over, especially at that time we had no strikers. So to get through Real Madrid, the 15-time champions, that's a big hurdle in and of itself. To be here in the semifinal against a team, I mean, yes, we beat them earlier. They have improved. They've gotten better. Luis Enrique is a coach who's won the Champions League before with Barcelona, played with top quality players, and has got this squad really working together as a unit. But I can say the same thing for this Arsenal squad. We're a unit, man. And if you look at players that have came into this team like Kivior, who stepped up massively, or you look at others who have came in when their moment's called, youngsters like Lewis Skelly, youngsters like Waneri, and others across the team, when their time has been called upon, Trossard so far at the back end of the season, they're seeming to step up to the mark. And first of all, credit to them, but it's not over yet. 3 games to play, and if you win those 3 games, you're sitting here looking at what is a dream for every single Arsenal fan. And if the women could do it, the women show that they have the quality, they have the mentality to do it, and I believe the men could go on and do the same thing. Know that, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to talk about this big game. We're going to transition into the lineups, because that's probably going to be the biggest talking point of the fixture, because we're missing key players like we talked about in midfield and potentially in attack. We're gonna get straight into that. Like I said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, people, as we touch on the lineups. Now, I think without further ado, we could just skip this. I think we all know David Raya in goal. Yep, that's done. David Raya, no chance. I think, to be honest, I do want to say something about David Raya. I think for me, he's been quality. Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, and then we're having a debate about who's the best goalkeeper in the world. They didn't really say a name. Emi Martinez was brought up in the conversation, but I think David Raya, he won't get the plaudits he deserves, but quietly, one of the best goalkeepers in the world for me. In terms of save catalog, shots claiming ability, with his feet as well. Modern goalkeeping in this era, he's going to continue to get better. If he continues to get better, I should say, then he's definitely going to be one of the world's best. For me,
he's definitely up there. There's a couple great keepers. Obviously, you got Courtois, you got Alisson. Like, I think a lot of people just give everything that people associate as the best. They always, obviously, you have to associate with winning, I guess.
Yep,
but people always define that. So like Martinez has had a crap year this year, but because he's won the World Cup and he was good in the World Cup final, which is almost 2 years ago now. Obviously, it's a big thing, so I'm not saying you can't, but it's like people kind of give a leeway to a thing where, like, do you know what I mean? Like, where players like Wild has played quality for the last year or so.
People still carry that height.
Yeah, so it's just a bit annoying. But
still has that height.
Yeah, Raya should be in goal. I think probably.
Bro, but it's a madness too.
Oh, yeah. No, go on.
Who are you thinking? Because no, I was gonna say, what would you do with the back line? Because I mean, there's going to be changes to the midfield where we have no Thomas Partey, no Calafiori back. Any changes you would make?
I think I feel like the lineup is not. Look, I say it's easy to pick. I think it's just most dependent on one player. I think the lineup, in my opinion, obviously because we already know Partey's out, so that's
Really
already
and
a
truly, I
factor.
think so too.
But I think it's more Marino's availability. Like if Marino is fit, because obviously he wasn't in the squad against
Mm,
Palace at all. So obviously I don't know what that was about. Obviously apparently it was like a training injury, but it could have been precaution. So do you know what I mean? Like I'm willing to take that. If Marino is fit,
so
then obviously I think the lineup kind of will be easy to pick. If
it
Marino
picks
is not
itself.
available, that's when I think it becomes hard. Because like for example, if Marino's fit, then I'm probably gonna go with
All
the
right,
back four.
let's do the lineup saying Moreno. Let's do the lineup saying Moreno is fit as well.
Yeah, so that's gonna be Timber, obviously Saliba,
With Timber
Kivior,
right back.
and Lewis Skeller.
Got William Saliba. Come on, man. We only know one Saliba that we want in the team right now. We already know.
Jakob
Jakob Kivior,
Kivior.
who we just gave a hand to. For me, I say it was Jakob Kivior.
Yeah, Jakob Kivior
Single-handedly
for sure.
kept us in that game at times. He scored a goal and he also has some crucial tackles in that game as well. And then another young player who's emerged as one of the best talents wise has to be Muzzle Skelly. There's no years old. It just doesn't even make sense, man. Does not even make sense.
The
Haifa,
guy's elite.
probably.
The guy's elite man. Like he's superbly elite. Like
Muzz
they don't want to bring up our boy.
Lewis. I think, yeah. What? No Lewis? The heck?
And I think he's there. You have to type in Lewis hyphen Skelly. Yeah. They're so good they put him twice.
Yeah. It's taking a while. No, it's taking a while on my shoes. Bro, they got him there like a million times. All right, so we have that back line. The back five sorts itself out.
Yeah, man. Then I
So
think
let's just go with the sign up like the Moreno is playing.
yeah, so
Moreno
Marino's
has been good at the 9.
yeah, if Marino's playing, then I think you just drop Marino back into the midfield and then you put Trossard in the false nine
Trossard
and
up
then
front.
and you put Rice in the 6. Because we don't have Jorginho as well because he seems like he might be out for the rest of the season. The way Mikel's been speaking about
Wow, that's
his rib injury. So
that that
yeah, I
that,
think
that initially it did look bad, but for the rest,
yeah, because obviously if he's got broken ribs, which apparently it might be a few broken ribs, not even just one, then like when you have bones and
that's a madness.
bones heal at different rates and different stages, and if it's multiple,
Yeah.
especially in that midriff area, that affects your breathing, that affects your turning, your running. Like I have to realize he's not a young player anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
For you, I mean, Trossard has scored goals, but do you think Trossard is the right selection to put
I,
there? A lot of people have
I
argued
think
maybe moving Muzzle with Skelly into midfield.
I think given the fact that we don't have that many options, like you want to start your strongest team. Like if
Yeah, I
Partey was
agree.
available, you probably put Partey in there. Marino goes into his up front position. If Jorginho is probably available, you could argue you probably put Jorginho in there and you leave it the same. Or
So let's
if
just say Partey does start. I mean, Trossard was still scoring goals. Does Trossard still start even if let's
uh,
just say
I think
second
that
leg potentially
I
as
think
well with Partey coming back? Does he start?
sorry, I think with the Party, I think that just depends on how like despite the result, obviously we hope that we would do win. Like that just depends on how the team plays and how the dynamic looks against what PSG is offering and what we're doing. Like if this lineup that you put there on the screen, Like it's a more fluid lineup. Obviously, you've got Rice at the 6, which means obviously maybe you don't have the same level of like full six capability that Party brings, but you still have a good player. You have the legs in there. You have Odegaard that can drop a bit deeper. Maybe the importance of Miles Lewis Skelly's passing and breaking lines becomes even more. And you have Trossard, who I've watched him in the last couple of games when he's played in that false nine. He's been very, very given a very, very free roam like role, like where he kind of roams anywhere he wants to on the pitch. There's no like limitations. There's times he's not occupying the centre backs, which is good and bad. And given PSG kind of have a similar type of play, like with they don't have a striker, they play Dembele or Kvaratskhelia or Barcola down the middle. Do you know what I mean? And they kind of rotate around as well. So it depends. If it doesn't work, or let's say like there's opportunities to exploit Paris aerially, then obviously for that second, or if we have a big lead, like a 2-0 lead, and you want to kind of defend, play more of a defensive shape, you might opt to play Marino there for, the long balls to win the headers and stuff and ball retention. And you know what I mean? Similar to what we did against Madrid in the second leg. So it all depends on the game state, both in terms of matchups and both in terms of what the scoreline is. Do you know what I mean? What about you? Like, what would you do?
Yeah, I agree with you. No, I agree with you. I think this lineup is literally the best. For me, I always say play your best players in the big games. Your best players play. That's really the main thing for me. So
Yeah.
I think push comes, especially in the back line. I love the fact that Mazu Skelly is still left back for our predicted 11, because I think maybe shifting him. I don't think he's going to be an issue if you shift him into midfield. Like, I'm not worried about Lewis Skelly specifically. Not at all. Is if what happens when maybe you have a Jakob Kivior coming in, or even if you do have Lewis Skelly, what happens? What does that affect with the midfield in terms of maybe you bringing in Zinchenko if you keep Moreno up front? So I think you play your strongest players who have been proven and have been playing for you in the biggest games. You play them, and then everything. Then you play the game, and then you literally play the game. I think is going to work to our factor. I think we have to win the midfield battle. That's been talked about all week. Rice and Moreno are going to bring that physicality, going to bring the technical ability, especially with Rice, Odegaard, Moreno. I think underrated that midfield three for being technical. PSG, as we know, have a very good midfield as well. I think what our strong suits, we're gonna have to use that Rice's ability to run forward and Moreno's ability to run and use the channels a lot, because I think that's gonna hurt them, especially if we exploit the overloads on each side, especially due to the fact that they have overlapping fullbacks like Hakimi, like Nuno Mendes, that's gonna like to get forward and gonna like to attack us. So if we could keep them pinned back in any form or fashion, which I think we did well in the first time we played them earlier this year, and man, I think I'm very confident going into this game. Like I said, I'm not really too much of fuss or bothered. I think we're gonna win this game. I'm confident we can win this game. And yeah, man, it's just about playing the game on the day, bro. Play the game, not the occasion, is really my main thing.
You know
To
what I'm
win
saying?
this game,
And
and I think we should be confident to win.
at the end of the day, like we don't have like with this lineup as well. Obviously, your party was coming in. Maybe we make one or two changes, but like we don't have the likes of Calafiori fit and running and in form. Or do
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because if Calafiori's fit, then you might have an argument of maybe putting him there and putting
yeah,
Lewis Skelly in the midfield. But even with because you have to also remember you have to give a lot of respect to the attacking players PSG got. That Desiree Due guy is out of
of
this
course.
world,
That
out of this
exactly,
world.
exactly.
Cavaskela is out of this world in terms of their ability to carry the ball. Dembele, they're all good technical players. So you got to play the two, I call them dogs, in Timber and Lewis Skelly in that fullback position. They don't get beat 1v1. They're strong. They're also quality on the ball as well. And another interesting point, maybe you haven't even thought about it, like with this lineup, like because you have Trossard in there floating, Marino's played in the nine. He kind of understands
Yeah,
that position.
yeah.
You can have
What? Yeah,
similar to what like used to happen with Trossard and Havertz when Havertz
Havertz.
is playing.
Yep.
You can have a similar thing going where
You could also play
sometimes
Martinelli through the middle during times of this game.
do you know what I
Send him
mean?
through the middle. Play
Trossard
Trossard off
drops
the left.
into pockets. Marino now runs into the nine
Yeah,
position. It
man.
kind of confuses them as well, and he's more comfortable in those situations. You have like there's a lot of things we can do, and as you said, like the physics, because we've got to have a 6 foot plus type guys in the midfield that are still technical, but they're strong. Obviously, PSG have three very all-round, well-rounded midfielders that are all quality. Obviously, Vitinha's is class.
Quality.
Jao
Yep.
Neves, you know how much I spoke about him last
Yep.
summer about how I wanted him, and Fabio Ruiz, you spoke about how whether him or Marino should have been our
and
choice.
and
So
and and arguably, I picked him. I picked
and
Fabian
yeah,
Ruiz over
yeah, and
Moreno.
I would say he is a better player. I'm not gonna argue that. But we've got to respect it. So
Yep.
I think we can win. And as I said, with me as well, I think we're gonna win this game. I think we can win this game. And with this lineup and with the way I know the Emirates is gonna be rocking that day, the way that we know is the first leg is our home leg, we got to make sure that we, save our serve, and at least even if you just win by 1 goal, you take an advantage over there to Paris to give yourselves the greatest opportunity to go through. So, like, given all of this, like, I genuinely think that, like, we will and should win this game. I can't wait, bro. I just hope. I
Can't
know the
wait.
players are gonna. I know the players are thinking and feeling what we're feeling and thinking.
Yep.
I just hope, like, the Emirates has sounded crazier than even that Real Madrid set first leg, and the way, like I'm saying, something magical happens again. Like, whether that's in terms of someone gets like the type of finishes, goals, or just a madness, isn't it? That's
What
what
do
I
you
want,
think,
man.
though? What do you think? I'm
So
gonna ask the big one. You talked about carrying something to Paris. What? First of all, what do Arsenal need to take to Paris to give you confidence? And what do you think the score is gonna be?
if you're talking like full confidence, like
I'd say
where
not 100% confidence, but what makes
okay,
you? First of all, before I even ask that, what percentage are you that would go through over 2 legs? What
percentage
percentage
of
are
going
you?
through over 2 legs, I'll say 60%.
60-40. So what would the scoreline have to be going into the second leg to make you 75% minimum confident? Like when we
Eh,
were 3-0 up against Real Madrid, I was 85 to 75% confident
I
that
would
we're gonna win.
say uh, I would say 3-0
3-0.
because
That's
I
fair.
feel like I didn't, even if we was 2-0 up against Madrid, I would have still been a bit confident knowing how they were playing, how we play. But obviously, 2 goal deficit, you can see 1 goal and then it's already one. Do you know what I'm saying? So I know, but with PSG, because they actually are a team operating and functioning well as a team, and the individuals that are playing there, it's different to Real Madrid, where maybe because you have an Mbappe having a great season, but everyone else is kind of off. They don't look like a team, as
Yeah.
they look disjointed. That is different to PSG. So, like, they have a manager that's also won the Champions League as well,
Yeah.
and Enrique. Like, it's not a small feat still. So it would have to be a 3 goal advantage, because I know that kind of team can score, like the way they create chances, the players they have, they can score, create havoc at any given opportunity. Like, so we need to have a 3 goal advantage. But
I- I'd have
what
to
about
agree.
you?
I would agree with that. I would agree with 3-0. 3-0 would make me feel like okay, like I back us to go through, like, because
Yeah,
two, like you said, 2-0 go, especially taking a 2-0 lead to Paris, it takes 1 goal to make the game tricky. And then anything can happen. Maybe it goes off somebody's backside, it goes off as like a
yeah,
deflected shot. Anything can happen. Like, I get an unfortunate penalty call, a penalty that's 50-50. We don't really want to be in a situation like that, especially on the road in the Champions League. But either way, I think 3-0, like I said, confident, man, because I think that's gonna have the confidence in me. But what do you think the scoreline is actually gonna be in the game?
I think
Um,
actually it'll be 2-0, and I don't think 2-0 is bad to take, but
nah,
I
not at
don't.
all.
I
Definitely
think
not.
that I don't want to get carried away with that first leg, even though we could have scored more than 3 goals outside of the free kick. So I'm not even trying to make it like that was what made us score the 3 goals. Just that, knockout rounds, especially in the deeper ends, don't necessarily just go one sided like that
Yeah,
so
it's
often.
yep.
So even though I know our team, and I can know, like, maybe we're gonna take this game seriously, so are they. Obviously, even though they've kind of already got one trophy in the bag in their league as well. Like, 2-0, man. And I feel like we can do that, man. What about you? What do you think?
3-1. I think we're gonna score 3 goals. I think when PSG look to come at us because we have to win that game. Like, first of all things put aside, Arsenal have to win that match at home. You have to win your home leg. You have to take an advantage of some sort there. I think maybe the game might end up being 2-1 at first, and then maybe ultimately get a goal late, maybe by maybe just a bit of quality, maybe a set piece or something. I think we'll score 3 goals, but I think PSG just have such good attacking quality. It wouldn't surprise me if we win 3-0. It wouldn't surprise me if we win 2-0. Like, it really wouldn't surprise me however this game ends up, because I think the teams are evenly matched on paper. And I think the managers are very good tactical managers, and it really just comes down to what happens on the day. But I said 3-1. I think we do go into that second leg with the two
A
goal
two
lead.
goal, yeah, a two goal advantage. I'll be, because I don't think Arsenal go there to any ground and just park the bus up and don't have an opportunity to
Agreed.
create chances. And I just think
Agreed.
with the way their two fullbacks play, like, what I watched in the second leg against Villa,
I was
where
gonna
obviously
say something.
they had a lead, obviously albeit 1 goal lead, and they scored early in the game, but they still
They
look
can
like,
be they can be got at, man. They can
yeah,
still
they
be
can
got
be
at.
got at. Like they have to realize they just lost. Obviously, albeit they obviously against Lille 3-1. I think it's a Lille, or I think it was Lille 3-1 on the
But
weekend. This Friday just went past. They lost 3-1. They played their full 11, so it wasn't like they were resting players or anything. And obviously, give it like I don't like to judge the league too much because they've already won it, so I don't expect them to like be going gun ho in their league when they've already won it, and
yeah.
they don't want to risk any injuries to any players, same as us. So that's nothing to look at, but they can be got at.
Hmm.
Like they do create a lot of chances, but I always think the way Arsenal defend, just that low, that tight, forcing teams out wide, forcing them to cross the balls in, like putting a lot of bodies in the box. Raya's cross claiming. I'm very confident when we like if we're not making mistakes. That's
Yeah.
the main thing.
That's really
And
that's for
before
me,
I
that's
guess
the
before
truth.
we
That's
leave,
the
the
truth.
main thing, please,
Avoid mistakes. So
Saliba, Raya,
avoid mistakes so you win the tie, I think.
because in that Palace game, there was a lot of passes as well from even Ryan himself that were loose
Hmm.
going to other players. Saliba is the last 3 games has made 2 errors, and he's had great performances within those games, but
Yep.
those errors have led to goals. Like, be locked in. Like, don't give them anything. If they
Sniff.
score a worldie, they score a free kick, they do something mad, cool. But just get a night, man,
But
and
yeah,
as you think, take a lead back and hey, Steph, man, it's just 3 more games,
we're
man. I
dreaming,
can't wait
man.
between them, man. Bro, I need
We're,
that game.
we're dreaming, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're dreaming too, but don't be dreaming when you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button because you can watch this content anytime you want. This is not a dream. This is real life. You can subscribe to Gunner Street and Cape House Pause for all Arsenal content. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to both of our channels. KP, any final words you'd like to say before we finally close this one out?
All those Arsenal players, just hold the spirit of knowing that you can end the season being legends as
Legends,
Arsenal players, not just great for the season or anything. Legends. We've never won a
legends.
European trophy or your Champions League before, so that should be the motivation, in my opinion.
Yep. Write your name on history's page. Take that from the Barbados national anthem. Write your name on history's page, people. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Write your name on history's page by joining our families, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, people.
Peace.
Thank